The time is 8:30, and it is time to resume our General Fund Budget Committee meeting for the 2018-19 budget, having recessed from last week. We'll begin this morning with the Sheriff's Department. And do I have an agenda?
I've heard you have quite an agenda.
Well, this is true. I just found it, I think.
Yeah, it's double-sided. Sorry.
That's okay, that's okay. We welcome to the table Sheriff Craig Roberts and his associates, so good morning.
Good morning. If we could just have just a couple more minutes. Nancy Artman is just coming down with some additional copies.
May I ask a question of the sheriff?
Yes.
Thank you. I was just wondering who's on patrol today.
That's what I said.
You got a lot of folks here.
While we're taking a moment and waiting, I do want to point out that we have allotted 2 hours for this discussion, and what we're attempting very diligently to do this year is to have presentation for half or less than half of the time, and then questions for the balance of that time. And I will tell you that this particular group has had many questions of almost every department so far, so just kind of keeping that in mind. So,
Yes, absolutely. We're going to make lots of time for questions. So.
thank you so much.
So, being that we have a little bit of a break, I do have a question, comment, more of a how the afternoons are going to work, and that is we appreciate staff getting all the information that we asked for, and we've got it. And I don't know if we'll have some of the department heads here later this afternoon when we get into discussion, but I'm just looking at the calendar or the time for the agenda for today. We want to make sure that we have adequate time to discuss some of the things. And so one of the things I asked for that's in here, thank you, Diane, perfect. On the very back is the unfilled positions. And the vacant positions, or basically the filled, vacant, and so on. But there's some that are really, really high and have been high historically for a long time. H3S is the one I'm actually have more of a question about, and DTD are two that have really high unfilled positions. So I'd certainly like to get an idea of where, what departments those are, and if those are actually achievable, and how much of that is general fund or versus what funding streams. And H3S, I don't understand that because I presume that that's probably more grant oriented, but I certainly like to understand that a lot more. I thought maybe the sheriff's would be a really high one as far as unfilled positions, but it wasn't. It was relatively low, so that's great. So I have less questions there in that regard. But I want to make sure we have adequate time to cover, and I think other people do too.
Of course. And we do have also tomorrow morning scheduled for budget hearings. I think we've all put that on our calendars in case we need that additional time.
Going on vacation.
It looks like you can't go on vacation yet. It looks like in our schedule for today, there's a possibility of being here until 3:30. I know that I actually will need to leave by 3:30.
Okay.
I have a 6-hour city council meeting tonight, and I know that Mr. Feely may not be able to be here tomorrow, so, I know everyone has different schedules, and I understand that, but, and I agree that we need time. When we get information like this, it's great, but we do need time to review it, absorb it, and maybe today, through even part of our lunch hour, we could do that, each of us, what we feel we need to do. But there are a couple of things that I think we need to have general discussion about at the end, whether either before or after we actually determine to adopt a budget. And that's some of the issues that we've kind of seen rise, number of employees may be one of those, making sure that, we're able to serve the county in the way that we want it served with the number of employees that we do have in each of the departments and how we work towards achieving those benchmarks as we move forward.
Or
Sure.
move approval of the budget.
You've been trying that for 4 days now. It hasn't worked yet. Yeah.
Is there anywhere I
And-
can buy like a
and I'm-
large, big rubber stamp?
Yeah. The other thing that
We're 5 minutes behind schedule now.
I know. The other thing that I would be curious about is that I know yesterday the special district budgets were all discussed, and I know I personally had a couple of questions about NCPRD and, you know, what's happening there. And so if there are synopsis from any of those discussions that may help us with our issues and discussions, you know, that would be good for us to be able to hear about in whatever way is appropriate. So, all right, thank you.
Regarding that, I can see what's available. I really don't know if at this point we have minutes or anything yet from the agencies.
Okay, thank you very much.